This is Kevin Mitnick, the most infamous hacker in the world. The media vilified him as a digital demon. The FBI launched an unprecedented, nationwide manhunt to bring him down. The authorities weren't just looking for him, they were genuinely terrified of him. It was the 1990s, and his story was essentially, catch me if you can, but played out through telephone lines and computer screens. But here's the bizarre twist. Mitnick's ultimate weapon wasn't writing complex code or building supercomputers. Growing up, Kevin had a completely different obsession: magic. He studied illusionists, fascinated by how they could control an audience's attention, misdirect their eyes, and manipulate their reality. That obsession forged the core philosophy of the greatest hacker in history. Mitnick realized a fundamental flaw in every security system. It is always easier to hack a human being than it is to hack a machine. And long before he was breaching multi-billion-dollar corporations, a 12-year-old Kevin Mitnick used this exact psychological manipulation to trick a local bus driver into giving him free rides all over the city. So, how exactly did a kid with a fascination for magic tricks become the most wanted cyber-fugitive on Earth? Kevin understood misdirection. Before he understood computers, he studied the mechanics of magic. Magic relies on a fundamental principle: controlling attention. Kevin applied this exact principle to physical security. He realized early in his development that the most formidable firewalls and the most complex encryption algorithms share a singular, critical vulnerability. The greatest weakness in any secure system is not the hardware. It is not the software. It is the human operating it. He tested this hypothesis at the age of 12. The target was the Los Angeles public transit infrastructure. He did not forge bus passes. He did not utilize complex machinery. He used simple conversation and profound observation. He engaged a bus driver in casual dialogue. He extracted the specific location where the transit authority purchased their ticket punchers. He then navigated the city's waste receptacles. He salvaged discarded transfer slips. He combined the blank slips with the designated puncher. For months, he traversed the massive Los Angeles transit grid. He traveled everywhere. He paid absolutely nothing. He achieved this simply by asking the right questions. This methodology acquired a formal title: social engineering. He escalated his operations. He targeted the telecommunications network. He did not write malicious code to bypass the switchboards. He simply picked up a handset. He impersonated utility technicians. He utilized industry terminology. He projected absolute authority. The operators complied. They bypassed their own security protocols. They provided Kevin with highly restricted information, including the unlisted private telephone numbers of prominent figures, such as musician Bruce Springsteen. He did not sell this information. He did not exploit the targets for financial gain. He executed these breaches for a different currency: intellectual satisfaction. He sought the thrill of solving the puzzle. The operations expanded in scale and ambition. The targets shifted from telephone networks to global technology corporations. Digital Equipment Corporation, known as DEC, stood as the second largest computer manufacturer on the planet. They possessed immense resources. They possessed elite digital defenses. Kevin breached their perimeter. He infiltrated their primary servers. He navigated their internal directories. He extracted the complete source code for their proprietary operating system. This was the digital equivalent of acquiring the master blueprints to a fortress. However, storing this magnitude of illicit data locally presented an extreme operational risk. Kevin required a secure repository. He chose the most audacious location imaginable. He transferred the extracted DEC source code into the internal servers of the National Aeronautics and Space Administration. He utilized NASA as his personal storage drive. Simultaneously, the cultural landscape shifted. The film War Games debuted in theaters. The narrative depicted a young computer enthusiast accidentally accessing military mainframes and nearly triggering a global nuclear conflict. The fiction merged with reality. The American public developed a profound, immediate fear of the digital frontier. They did not understand the technology, which bred absolute paranoia. The media identified Kevin. They amplified his actions. They transformed a curious, highly capable individual into a digital threat. Broadcasters and journalists manufactured a narrative.
They claimed he possessed the capability to launch intercontinental missiles or dismantle the national financial grid with a sequence of keystrokes. They painted him as an architect of chaos. The public panic peaked.
The pressure mounted. The inner circle fractured. Associates betrayed him to federal authorities. Kevin transitioned from a digital explorer to the most intensely prefers fugitive in the nation. He vanished from the established grid. He fabricated new identities. He secured alternate documentation. He relocated constantly. For 2 entire years, he maintained a shadow existence. He operated entirely beneath the surface of society. Then, he committed a fatal strategic error. He targeted the wrong individual. Kevin compromised the personal cellular network of Tsutomu Shimamura. Shimamura was not a standard systems administrator. He was a premier, highly specialized security researcher. He possessed intellect and capability that mirrored Kevin's own. Shimamura mobilized. He collaborated with federal technicians. Shimamura utilized advanced electronic surveillance equipment. He tracked modified cellular signals. He drove through city streets, triangulating the exact origin of the unauthorized transmissions. He narrowed the radius. He closed the distance. February 15, 1995. Morning. Federal agents converged on a modest residential apartment. They breached the perimeter. The evasion concluded. During the subsequent legal proceedings, a profound moment materialized in the courtroom. The 2 architects of the digital realm occupied the same physical space, the infiltrator and the protector. Kevin looked at Shimamura. Shimamura looked at Kevin. They exchanged a brief, silent nod. It was not a gesture of friendship. It was a gesture of absolute, mutual professional respect. They recognized the capability in each other. The judicial system delivered a severe mandate. They sentenced Kevin to 5 years of federal confinement. The paranoia surrounding his capabilities persisted. Upon his release, the court established unprecedented restrictions. They prohibited him from touching any electronic communication device. He could not operate a cellular phone. He could not access a computer terminal. The authorities still believed his hands were dangerous weapons. Consider the ultimate paradox of this case. The corporate entities originally claimed digital damages exceeding $300 million. Following rigorous financial audits, the verifiable, concrete damages amounted to slightly more than $4,000. The threat was vastly inflated by the fear of the unknown. Yet, Kevin adapted. He initiated a total trajectory shift. He utilized a singular concept to rewrite his legacy: authorization. He transformed from a hunted fugitive into a premier cybersecurity consultant. The same multinational corporations that previously feared him now compensated him heavily to test their infrastructure. He established the modern standard for ethical infiltration. He demonstrated that the best defense requires an understanding of the offense. In 2023, Kevin passed away. He left behind a permanent imprint on the technological landscape. He pioneered the concept of social engineering. He forced an entire industry to evaluate human psychology alongside digital architecture. Observe the narrative. Analyze the variables. Was Kevin Mitnick a genuine, dangerous threat to society? Or was he merely a highly intelligent casualty of early technological paranoia? Evaluate the evidence and state your perspective in the comments section below. If you value this structural analysis, engage the like button. Subscribe to the channel to track our ongoing investigations into the hidden mechanics of the modern world.